Welcome back to ToK today, and I hope that you're having a ToK-tastic day. Right at the top of this video, I just remind you that I'd love to have your subscription here on YouTube, and comments and likes are very much appreciated as well. So today we've the first lesson of 2 on AoK History, and this one is on the concept of historical truth. One of the things that I find a lot of students bring to the ToK classroom is the idea that there is a single historical truth, and that the job of the historian is just to go out there, explore, and find that truth, sort of hack it out of a rock, and then bring it home and put it in a book, and we have historical truth. And of course, the big job is to get the students to understand that the historical knowledge is constructed in the same way as all other knowledge, and it's very much influenced by all of the perspectives and biases and interpretations which all other knowledge is influenced by. If you have a quick look at the ToK concepts, you'll see that all of them directly and closely relate to AoK history. So this is a core part of our ToK curriculum. At the beginning of this lesson, I would draw the students' attention to the ToK concepts. It's always useful to come back to them. Just to say at the outset that this lesson is designed to be accessible to students who do study history and those who don't study history. It's also accessible to students throughout the range, so particularly focusing on students who may not be particularly interested in ToK or find ToK particularly challenging. However, it's very open-ended, so it allows for extension for the students at the top of the range and students who are enthusiastic and eager about ToK. The premise of the lesson is looking at some recorded history which we have since found to have been manipulated or altered in some way. In the past, I've used the famous photo of Stalin, which Trotsky has been airbrushed out of. I've since found this photo here of President George Bush. At the moment that he was informed of the attacks, he was in a children's elementary school in Florida, reading to the children, and the photo has been manipulated to show the children's book that he's reading as upside down. Rather unfair comment on President Bush. So what we first of all want the students to look at is a prima facie interpretation of the photo, and then to look at some of the sources which claim that the photo has been manipulated. Then, as usual, I'm using group work in ToK. I think that the students can learn a lot from each other, and ToK is an excellent opportunity for collaborative learning. So we split students into groups and we give them some questions. Just quickly running through the questions, they are: can you establish historical truth of the photo? If a range of sources disagree, how do we establish facts? What counts as a fact in history? Is a history which is internally consistent necessarily true? Could more than one version of the past, in even contradictory ones, be internally consistent? Is a fact always a truth? Is it important to establish historical objectivity, and if so, why? Is it unfair to judge people and actions in the past by the standards of today? We'll come back to that question in the second lesson in this series, because that's a super interesting question. Should value-laden terms such as atrocity or hero be used when writing about history, or should value judgments be avoided? Now, there are a few things here in these questions, some key ideas. I think this idea of internal consistency helps the students across the range of the areas of knowledge, particularly in human and natural sciences and maths. So if they can apply it in history, it will help them there. We are starting to deal with 2 thorny concepts here as well: the fact and truth. The idea of facts and the idea of truth. Now, I don't really believe in getting the students to read lots of weighty articles in ToK. ToK is meant to be a reflection on how knowledge is constructed. So what we want them to do is to start to develop critical understandings of these terms, particularly of the term truth. I've said many times I didn't used to let the students use the word truth in my lessons, but it's there as one of the concepts now, so we have to deal with it, thorny as it may be. And then there are the value judgments question about standards in the past compared to standards today, which we'll get to in the second lesson. And then simply the students' feedback. This is about an hour-long lesson, and there will be lots of discussion that will come in the feedback feedback section, and we're going to ask the students to record their reflections on that discussion to start to construct this more problematized, critical approach to the construction of historical knowledge. And it's as simple as that. It's pretty straightforward. It doesn't involve lots of reading, and it does involve lots of discussion. And most of the students that I've taught over the years really much prefer to be doing discussion to develop their critical thinking than to do lots of reading in ToK. So all those resources are available for free on the toktoday.com website. And I hope that you found that useful. If you did, then a like, comment, or subscribe on YouTube is super appreciated. Have a great day, and I hope to see you on the next one. Bye.